Fate, the idea that everything we do is pre-written and we are merely a puppet in the grand design, has been there for a long time. And fortune telling is the idea that this fate can be read and deciphered, and which has been disproved by science to a great extent. But fate, is that a hoax too, or does it have some truth to it? Hello and welcome back guys, I am Boom, and in this video we are going to see how fate might be the real deal. Before starting this video, if you are new to this channel, I like thinking up weird ideas and theories, and if that is your thing, then click on the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on the notifications so that you get to see new videos as soon as they are out. Also, if you have some ideas that you want me to share on my channel, then leave it in the comments and I'll definitely see them. Okay, so back to the video. Imagine that this is a human. Now let's see what defines a human action, which is this output, which is primarily what fate predicts. So, what would you do if someone comes and punches you in your face? First case, you punch back. So here the action was defined by an external action, which can be taken as the input. Second case, you don't punch them. Why? Well, because you were taught to be forgiving, by your parents maybe. So here your action or output does not only depend on the immediate input, but also on some stored result from some previous event. Your parents teaching you to be forgiving could be that event, and the teaching is the input, and you believing in what they said could be the output, and you store that and use it here. Third case, you still punch them, even though you were taught to be forgiving. Why? Maybe you got fired from your job and you are angry. So here it depends on not one, but two stored results. So from this, we can say that any human action depends on one or more than one immediate inputs, which can be another human's action or the environment. Too hot, you punch back, and also depends on one or more than one stored outputs of previous events. So now, let's go to a condition when there are no previously stored output in a human. When a person is born. When a person is born, they have no preconceived ideas or thoughts. There is no previous event that could have occurred. So at that time, an action of that baby would only depend on external inputs, and that would generate the first stored output. Maybe not immediately, but one of the first events would generate a stored output, and that is how humans learn. And as the baby grows up, the amount of stored result from previous events also increases. This results in an increase in good things like knowledge and skills, as well as bad things like prejudice and bad habits. And this is also the reason why an older person's action depends a lot on their experience rather than just acting on immediate input. And this is also the reason why younger people tend to be more impulsive. So in a nutshell, the action of a person depends on the action of the people who came before them and the environment. This idea can be extended to all living creatures and even the environment itself. For example, the polar ice caps. Their melting depends on immediate human action of degrading the environment, as well as previously stored result of previous human doing the same. Now that we understand what an action is and what it depends on, let us go to when the very first living creature came into existence, a single-celled being. Since it was the very first living creature, every other living creature's action depends on that single-celled being, and that creature's action depended only on the environment. In a way, the end of all life on Earth had already been defined when the first living creature came into existence. We can actually extend this idea even further. Environment at the time when the first single cell being came into existence depended only on the previous environmental conditions, since there were no other living beings. And before that, every environmental condition depended only on the previous one, assuming there were no alien interference. But still, this model can be followed. It would just make the explanation a little more complex. Anyways, since the environmental condition depended only on the previous one, we can say that all environmental conditions depended on the very first action, the Big Bang, the beginning to the end. And essentially, the end of the universe was already defined when it all began. And that is it for this video. For those of you who are too depressed after watching this video, well, don't be. The world we are living in might not even be real. Anyways, that's a theory for another day. If you enjoyed this one, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the very next one. Bye.